Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I want to show you the Blackburne Shilling Trap. The Blackburne Shilling Trap is a trap for black that you can play against the Italian game. But truth must be told, I wouldn't recommend you to do so. The reason behind is that if white knows what he's doing, well, then you probably are going to end up in a position that's worse and you're even down a pawn. And that's really not what we want to go for, don't we? So I find that the trap is still quite entertaining, and let's say you're white and you're going to play the Italian game yourself, then of course you have to know how to react if black sets the trap, right? So without further ado, it's time to checkmate. So before I want to show you the trap, I just want to mention that the trap is already 125 years old. It was first mentioned by William Steinitz, the first world champion of chess, in 1895. And even if it's that old, there are still players falling for it, so it's worth knowing what to do against it, right? The trap starts after the moves e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop c4. This is the starting position of the Italian game, and here black has some nice options, for example bishop c5 or going into the two knights defense with knight f6. But instead black tries to set a trap, and so he plays knight to d4. If you think about it, this breaks one of the opening rules. He moved his knight twice, first to c6 and then to d4. And it's never a good idea to move a piece that early in the game twice. I mean, of course, there are exceptions, but in this case, there's not. Because if white would have played the best move, then black's already a little bit worse. For example, an easy way for white to play is castling. And as you can see, white brought his king to safety and already developed two pieces, while black just jumped around with his knight, and it's not clear what he's doing on d4. So here white is already a little bit better, but he could be a little bit more ambitious, and this is by taking the knight on d4, because after e takes d4, of course he could simply castle again and it's nothing wrong with it, but he even have a more ambitious move, and this is c3. And here it's not clear what black can do. For example, let's say black wants to grab the pawn, then white simply grabs it back with the knight, and after d6 and d4, white got a huge center and already a huge advantage in development, and it's only white who can play for the win in this position. Another move would have been bishop c5, but this is even worse. And here white already got an option of winning white at the spot. And not a mate, but he will win material. And I would advise you to pause the video and try to figure out what white's best move is. I'll give you 3 seconds to pause the video. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. If not, that's not a problem. I will give you a little hint. Sometimes you have to sacrifice material to gain back material. So with that hint, I hope you will find the solution. I give you 3 seconds again to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. The right move is bishop takes f7 exclam, and check of course as well. Because if the black king takes the bishop, then we simply got to move queen to h5 check, attacking the king and the bishop at the same time, so we are getting back our bishop, and we're already up a pawn, and black cannot castle anymore, so white got a huge advantage and will win the game later. So the best move in this position for black would have been d5, but after e takes d5, queen e7 check, and king f1, you may say, well, we lost our right to castle. Yeah, that's true, but we're up a pawn, and we won't have any difficulties to face to develop our last pieces. We will grab this pawn later on, develop our knight to c3, push d3, and bring our bishop into the game. Or if black decides to grab our pawn on c3, then it's even simpler. We just grab back with the knight, playing d4 and developing our bishop. So it's a pretty easy position for white, being up a pawn, and I would gratefully take this position as white in my games. So in the game, white made an error. He couldn't resist and he grabbed pawn on e5. And if you think about it, then black made a slightly error by playing his knight twice, but white didn't play to the opening rules as well, because he played this move twice as well. So this is equal, but in this position it's already black who's a little bit better, because he has a nice move, and the move is queen to g5. Attacking the knight and the pawn on g2 at the same time. He doesn't care that white could probably take the pawn on f2, attacking the queen and the rook at the same time, because he knows that if he grabs the pawn on g2, then the rook is attacked and white's king is already in danger. So what could white do in this position to survive? Well, the best move for white would have been bishop takes f7 check, because after king d8, castles, and queen takes e5, he's down a piece, that's right, but he got 2 pawns for it. And well, you could argue that the pawns will run sooner or later and start an attack on black, and black cannot castle anymore, so it's not too easy for him. But I still think that black is better in this position, because, well, he's a piece up, and at a certain point he will manage to convert his advantage. So this would have been white's best try. If he would play, for example, a move like knight to g4 to stop us from grabbing the pawn on g2, then we already have a nice move that wins white the spot material, and I would advise you to pause the video and try to figure out a good move for black that wins white at the spot. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. If not, here's a little hint. You need to find a move that attacks 2 pieces at the same time. I'll give you another 3 seconds to pause the video. 1, 2, 3. Well, the move I was looking for is d5 exclam, attacking the bishop and the knight at the same time. So black will win material, and being up a piece, the game is over. So you may ask, okay, now you showed us bishop f7 and knight g4, but what's about knight f7? Well, this is probably the worst move we could play in this position, because now we simply grab the pawn on g2, and here white got 2 options. Let's say he grabs the rook on h8. Then we simply grab the rook on h1. White has only one move. This is the bishop move to f1. We can grab a pawn on e4. And now you really don't want to put your queen on e2, because then it's hanging. So you will play bishop e2. And this position is already winning for black. For example, bishop c5, knight c3, and here's already a mate in 4 for black. And I would advise you to pause the video and try to figure out how black can mate white in 4 moves. I give you 3 seconds to pause the video. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. If not a problem. I will give you a little hint. The hint is that in one of the variations, the move d6 will mate white's king. So I hope that's helpful for you. I'll give you another 3 seconds to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, the mate is pretty simple. Knight f3 check, king f1, queen h4, a threatening mate on h3 and on f2 at the same time. So the only move to stop us from mating right away is king g2. But here, after queen takes f2, it doesn't matter what black is doing. For example, king h1, then it's mate on h2. And if he moves to h3, then d6, the move I gave you in the hint, will end the game, because bishop attacks the king, the queen guards this squares and this squares, so there's no way white can escape, and it's mate. So there's still one more line we have to check, because if white wouldn't be that greedy and grab the rook on h8, he could go for rook f1. I mean, this looks sensible because he saved his own rook while he's still attacking our rook. So what can black do in this position? Well, he just simply grabs the pawn on e4, and now black has two moves. Believe it or not, the better one is still queen e2, but here we just simply grab the queen, and after bishop takes e2 and king takes f7, we're up a whole queen, so this game is already over. There's no way black could lose this game anymore. And after bishop e2, it's black to move and mate in one, and I hope you find it. I give you 3 seconds to pause the video if you need to. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the solution. If not, here's the hint. This bishop cannot move because it's pinned by the queen. So pause the video again if you need to. I give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Well, I hope you all found the mate. It's a pretty beautiful move. It's knight to f3 checkmate. Well, this will end our video today. I hope you liked it. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Hit the like and the subscribe button. And see you next time when it's again time to checkmate.